Okay.
Yo, what's up, Brian?
Oh, hey, what's happening, AJ?
Hey,
Hey.
you remember last week when
No, nothing about it actually.
I was actually
Start to
hinting?
finish.
I was hinting in the Discord that I was going to be dropping hints left and right. I do
Well,
that often, and lots of the time I do it just because I'm a sick, twisted bastard, and I
this
like
is
to do
true.
it, and knowing that people don't actually know anything what I'm talking about. But I sometimes do give clues. And I remember last week we were talking about the Firesprite acquisition,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "Man, I said
Mm-hmm.
I have to do some research. I have to do some digging." But man, I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see what they have cooking on the horizon or something like that. I remember one person caught on,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Nick Ulo,
Of
and he was
course,
like,
super
"Was
sleuth
that
himself.
was that Horizon with a capital
Capital
H, or
H.
was that a Horizon with a lowercase?" It was a capital H, Nick Ulo. Good job. You win absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You know who else wins
I'm
absolutely
sorry.
nothing? Games wins absolutely nothing because he thinks we are totally full of shit. And I'm going to tell you, dude, since the beginning of Without Parole, I've only reported on what I know to be true. And so, if you don't believe the shit we're talking about, well, I'm sorry, man. That's on you because we know it to be true. AJ, can we start the show?
Start the show, Brian.
This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I was like, where the hell are you going? You're already going off camera. God damn it. My name is Brian Popnition right here, PSVR Without Pro, and the sir. Am I right?
You had
Hey,
1 week, right? You had an entire weekend to come up with something. You didn't.
you think I did work this weekend? You think I sat around and like, what am I going to call AJ on Monday? Dude, I think about the show about 7 minutes before it happens. It's thumbnail time, and then we do it. That is it. AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday, and I am happy to report that we're totally going to make your Monday suck. Just a little bit less. With some great news. I'm excited, man. Mondays, this is the best Monday you will ever have. It was the best Monday of your life.
Wow, best Monday you'll ever have. You just set everybody up for disappointment, especially us. Guys, we do want to start the show off good and proper. We got 2 tips to shout out, and the first one came from Jeppy Condile, like hours ago. What's up, Jeppy Condile? With a $10 tip, says been watching Without Parole since PSVR launch, and it's just awesome how much it's grown because of the passion you guys and the Game Cats and the tremendous hard work. Great job, keep it up. Thank you. We love you so much.
Thank you, Jeppy. Local homegrown game cat goodness. Woo!
And on the complete other polar opposite side of the encouragement spectrum is Emily Baxter, hashtag the game kitten, with a $2 tip says, start the damn show already. I mean,
No surprise there.
we appreciate it no matter how it comes across. We know your intentions are good. So thank you so much. Guys, a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure if you haven't already joined our Discord, the link for that is in the description below. That's where conversations like this happen 24/7. It's just a good place to hang out and get some multiplayer meetups going and join our nightly box VR sessions and I don't know, other stuff. All sorts of great stuff. Counting Andrew, lots and lots of stuff happening over there. Now, the other thing is if video format isn't really your thing and you'd much rather sit and listen to this with an iPod, do people still use iPods? I don't know. Their phones, their Alexas, whatever, man. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can definitely find us on a bunch of different streaming services, the podcast service of your choice. We also want to give a shout out to Professor Lilith, who's in charge of all of our meetups. $5 tip says Firewall wins this week's poll. We play Sunday, September 19th at 2 p.m. I'm assuming that's Eastern. Now taking suggestions for September 26th. All right, guys, you heard it. September 19th, Firewall, 2 p.m. Make sure you join Discord so you can get in on that big event.
I love Firewall. Such a great game. And Alvo. I'm a big fan of Alvo now, too, ever since that last update.
Last update was good.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, great job, Brian. Just before we get started.
I didn't do anything. I promise.
Great job with the top 25 list. I watched it this morning. And, shout out to Chris from Shughead Gaming who helped us with that. And
Well, helped is
yeah,
a
man.
relative term. He hindered the process, but
He
helped,
did.
but helped with
He
the
did.
voiceovers ultimately. Right?
But no, I'm actually pretty pleased with the one. I can't wait, guys. Time to start building that top 50 hype for December. You excited, Brian? You excited to edit that one? I know you
I
are.
don't know.
Don't lie.
I don't know how I feel about December. I think there's an award show happening in December. Let's maybe push the top 50 to January when it's a little bit slower and we have some more time on our hands. But yeah, top 50. I am excited for that because then we get to talk about a bunch of games that keep falling off the list. Doom, Immortal Legacy. Immortal Legacy is going way up this list, man. I'm getting that in the top. I'm getting that in the 15 to 20 range next time around. We also got Looper the Game Cat with the 40 rubs. Belly rubs?
Ooh,
Who's your
what kind of rubs? Now I'm interested.
We have
You
40
have
belly
my
rubs.
attention.
Hashtag hire AJ. Is that a Russian thing? Is that a 40 Russian rupees?
Rubies.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure that's a Hyrulean thing. So I'll get it one of these days, guys. I'll figure it out. All right, man. Listen, we get so much news to talk about, and so many discussions to have, I guess we should say. So,
Yes.
and you know, I think there's been discussions about this sort of tangentially related to things that we've talked about. People online have speculated about things, but we kind of want to put it all together and let you guys know the truth, how much is accurate, and everything that we know. So, AJ, what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about Horizon, the Horizon IP. And real quick, we're going to, before we get into, all those extra details and stuff, we're going to rewind way back and break down a couple things leading up to this that we've been hearing, because there's been evidence hidden in plain sight, left and right. And the truth is, as expected, this shit is so big that most people don't believe it or don't want to believe it or just can't conceive it, because it is that big of a deal and that exciting and that awesome. And we're going to talk about what we can say, because there's certainly, that's a big disclaimer here, is there are things that we also know that are no-nos that we want to, but it's also sourced from multiple areas. This isn't just information that comes from one person or anything. It's like all over the place, and it's kind of like the worst kept secret ever.
As I said in the intro to the show, when we don't know the answer to something, we say, "Hey, look at this rumor. Look at this stuff that we're going to speculate on. Could this be true?" Big question marks. We make it very clear that we're not saying something just to say something. And today we're going to say stuff, but we know
Just
stuff,
to say it. Yes.
right? And if at any point we begin speculating, well, then we'll certainly let you know when that part happens.
So take a seat on Pappy's lap here, and let's talk real quick about what is Horizon. Brian, I've actually recently started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, once again. I've restarted my playthrough because it was free on PlayStation Plus, or free for the Play at Home initiative. And I never finished it. I think I got about 10 hours in, and I was really liking it. And then VR happened. And then I've just been fully into VR ever since then. I don't, I used to play tons of games and everything, but ever since VR, I definitely don't play as much anymore. But essentially, Brian, Horizon is an action-adventure RPG where you play as this character named Aloy, and she's basically an orphan, I believe. She's motherless, and they're like God or whatever in the game. They refer to as Mother. Everything is about Mother. And she basically grows up as an outcast and is treated horribly, and basically eventually joins the rest of like society through a ritual, and then stuff hits the fan, and she basically is on a journey to find out who she is, where she comes from, and her history.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of Horizon.
That's the beginning of Horizon. That's about all I know about Horizon, because I got 10 hours into it, roughly. I forget what the halfway mark was, but I remember actually stopping and saying, how much more do I have to go? Because I was sort of falling off on it. I don't love Horizon like everyone else does. I think it's a great game, and I just was sort of somewhere else, and I wasn't engaged in the story. So when I looked up online, when I looked up on IGN, a walkthrough to see exactly where I was, not to spoil anything, I was exactly halfway through, and I was like, I don't think I have it in me to double the amount of time I've spent in this game. PSVR just came out, as you said, and I moved on. I made the conscious decision to say, I've had enough. But I remember Michelle played the entire thing, and I know a lot of cats have played the entire thing, and absolutely love this game. So I know I'm in the minority on this one, despite the fact that I love everything this game does. I just didn't feel engaged enough to keep playing.
Oh, it's so good.
By the way, Looper the Game Cat with the 666 rupees says, Halloween month is coming. What's up with your horror dream, Brian? Well, you're just going to have to wait on that. It doesn't matter how much you tip, my friend. It is in the works. It is in the works.
Nice.
So I will definitely keep you posted. Yeah.
But anyways, Your Long Shadows is a Game Cat Meow says it perfectly. She's an outcast and badass, both true.
Yeah.
And she says the story is superb, also true. But she says, plus robot dinosaurs, Brian. Come on.
Yeah,
Mr.
huge.
Robinson, the Journey Defender to the death.
Not to the death.
Giant
just-
robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, no, this is the kind of game that if we had in VR, I would have never stopped playing. I would have played it till the end and just played it over and over again. But at a certain point, I moved from flat screen to VR, and this game didn't come with me yet.
Yes. So I love it. I think actually stealth action is like one of the best natural fits for gameplay, like really good gameplay. It's like something I think what made Metal Gear Solid so special. And this is similar. It is, but it's very heavily story driven. And man, you need to get yourself a 4K TV because woo-hoo, does it look good? It's the only game I'll unplug from my the PSVR breakout box because it doesn't do true 4K through it or whatever, even with the V2. And I'll plug it directly in, and whoo, it looks good, man. It is a stunning looking game.
Nice.
But it's like I said, it just gets everything right. So that is Horizon VR, the beginning in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it. Hopefully you picked it up and get around to playing it at some point because you might need to. We'll explain more later. Now fast forward, Brian, to Sunday, October 27th, 2019.
So long ago.
2019.
So long
yes.
ago.
This was around the time where we heard the very first rumor about the possibility of a Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PlayStation. This comes from PlayStationLifestyle.net. I've got tons of sources here that will be tracing this long journey back. And the article was Horizon Zero Dawn PlayStation VR version reportedly in the works. And they say, rumor has it that Sony's London studio is working on a virtual reality version of Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation VR. Report comes from VR industry veteran Callum Hurley, who ended up apologizing for the leak. And Hurley claims that he wasn't expecting his tweets to be picked up by news outlets because of his relatively small Twitter following, and said that his source is a play tester who he trusts. So sorry to reopen old wounds, Mr. Hurley. But what sparked this, Brian, was that he had a tweet where he said, quote, was recently made aware of a very exciting new PlayStation VR game coming out of London studio. Not sure whether it'll be for PS4, PS5, or both, but it's really exciting, and an announcement could be on the horizon with a capital H.
Right. So his tweet was steered us in the right direction. To obviously, I think anybody who was paying attention at all, even remotely, was like, Horizon has a capital H. It's obviously Horizon, but an announcement being on the horizon made it sound like it was coming a little bit sooner than that. It's been 2 years. And so I do want to kind of point at this just for a second. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here, but I do want to point at this for just a second and remind everybody, again, that PlayStation VR games, PlayStation VR2 games, most VR games are not made on dev kits. So when people say, hey, dev kits aren't out, there's no way we're going to get these new big original games at launch or near launch on PlayStation VR2, and then they say that's why PSVR 2 couldn't be coming out in March, in Q2, Q3, Q4, 2022, because there just hasn't been enough time for developers. This was known in 2019. right?
Yeah.
2019, 2 full years ago. So just so you guys know, people have been developing PlayStation VR2 games for years. For years. And then they take that dev kit and they go the final few steps with it and make sure that it all works on the PlayStation VR2 headset. And so I don't want to go down the whole March that the PSVR2 is coming out in March conversation again. But again, just so you guys know, this is how long some games have been in development for. Okay, that's my tangent. Sorry. Carry on.
No, it's great. Yeah, you're right. And they have to fully optimize it for the official hardware, the official form factor of the new headset, which we haven't even seen yet. We're still waiting to see.
Well, you
what
haven't
the
seen
PSVR2
yet.
Oh, okay.
Right. That's one thing I can definitely say. I have not seen.
You want to have a sleepover this weekend? Remember sleepovers? Weren't those great?
Let me remember.
But anyways, so now that was the first rumor that we heard. That was 2 years ago, and we reported on it, I think, back then.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies. I can't believe I've been working with you for that long. Now, so from today, let's rewind to 7 months ago, where it was pointed out by a Reddit user that they had a job listings open for certain positions. The Reddit user was, and all this stuff you can still go find. It's all publicly visible. This was on Reddit from Mark Matthews 20 is just the one I'm going to use. I'm sure multiple people posted about it. He's the one that I have. Within these job listings, they mentioned key things that align perfectly with Horizon. And now let's take a look at like what those job listings were. This was from this was actually from the Firesprite. Apologies. This was not Sony London Studio. This was from the Firesprite job listings that were open. And they said, we'll just look at a couple of positions they were hiring for. Seeking experienced 3D modelers to work on a variety of projects and help them take a globally recognized multi-million selling action RPG and create a full-form PlayStation VR game.
Yeah. At the time, I don't think anybody was thinking that it would be a Sony first-party thing. I think at the time everybody was thinking,
right,
Star Wars. You know, I feel like Star Wars was the thing that kept coming up, and people kept mentioning, saying, "Oh, it'd be great to get a Star Wars VR game that was a full-fledged," you know. And so I don't think anybody at this point was thinking about Horizon. I don't think because at this point, Forbidden West hadn't even been announced. We didn't know how much of a franchise this was going to turn into, and so I think there were a lot of other games that people would have thought of first. So back when this happened, I'm not sure how many people were thinking Horizon.
Probably not Horizon, but there was definitely a few to choose from, and I'll tell you why. There's more. There's other positions that they were talking about. They said we are looking for a lead producer to assist with all aspects of planning and delivery on a VR action-adventure project adapted from one of the most original and successful multi-million selling console IP titles in the last 10 years. So, an original IP from the last 10 years, that eliminates Spider-Man, that eliminates God of War.
Star
and
Wars.
The thing is there are clues here because there's not many games, like it narrows it down when you say a multi-million, well-renowned, worldwide known selling console IP.
Right, and especially when you say the last 10 years, because obviously, you know, that even takes Uncharted out of the running.
Right, exactly. Takes out Uncharted, takes out God of War, takes out Spider-Man, takes out a lot of games. And so that narrows it down. They also say this is an exceptionally exciting project, partnering with the IP holder, which, by the way, Guerrilla Games owns Horizon Zero Dawn IP, to create a whole new chapter in the exciting and highly original universe they have established, utilizing the full immersive capabilities in VR to build a new narrative for fans and newcomers alike. Brian.
Yeah.
Partnering with an IP holder, a whole new chapter, a new narrative.
Nier Automata v 71913.
I would play the shit out of Nier in VR.
Me too.
Yes. So there are now to go on to there are also mentions within all these listings of next level visuals.
Yes.
And finally, of pretty important detail, a PlayStation exclusive franchise. I mean, I don't have the full list of everything that fits the criteria here.
Right. It's starting to get
But-
narrowed down real fast.
But yeah, man, all of this stuff is like, I mean, this was all publicly known, and so like I said, I didn't remember all of this off of memory, but I went back. That's where I said I did all this digging and pieced it all together. Cute Charlie with his Always Sunny in Philadelphia with that picture, and he's like connecting all the string and the dots.
This is where you go for a visual reference. You don't go to A Beautiful Mind when everything's lighting up and there's fucking orchestras playing and shit. You're like, oh, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Wow.
Russell Crowe. Oh my goodness.
Tanbridge says, finally, Ape Escape VR. Yes, I would have loved that. Yeah, the movie sucks.
So we're going. I mean, we are going on a journey here, and like all this stuff is tons of info. So let me see where we're at now. Let me check my notes here because it's a lot to remember. So that is the Firesprite job listings, and then guess what occurred next, Brian?
I mean, I don't have to guess because I have the run of show. So,
Guess, Brian.
There was what happened next.
We get word last week, Brian, that Firesprite is now been acquired by Sony as a first-party studio. We went into a deep dive of. I almost wish we dove deeper into it because it's just so awesome. We always talk about how we're such big fans of the Persistence. It's such an underrated, amazing game. Always makes our top 25 list, and everybody should go out and play it right now. Go turn this off and go play it. But Firesprite now is a first-party studio. So to me, well, what does that say to you, Brian?
Well, this says to me that you're absolutely insane because there was no in my head. I'm like, well, why the hell? Like of all the studios that could possibly be bringing Horizon into VR, why would we make the connection that Firesprite's the one doing it? Here's Firesprite. The one PlayStation VR game that they made was the Persistence, and it used the DualShock 4. It didn't, you didn't even have hands in the game, right? So you certainly weren't shooting bows and arrows and shit, right? And so, and what it was all about cramped corridors and certainly not open worlds. It seemed like the antithesis of Horizon VR. It seemed like everything that Firesprite was capable of doing had nothing to do with the Horizon series. So to me, I was like, this does not seem like there's any logical connection here. It's like London Studio was initially linked to this project. I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense. I mean, those dudes did The Getaway back on PlayStation 2. They know open world games big time, right? And so that made a lot of sense. And then Guerrilla, I was like, well, this is Guerrilla's baby. Why are you taking Guerrilla's baby away from them? But then at the same time, Beautiful Mind style, I'm like, well, you don't want Guerrilla being distracted from their flat screen project, right? If they're really good at Horizon flat screen, well, let somebody else handle this. So I get it, but for me, it was still a stretch.
So this is the other thing.
Yeah, go for it.
There was something else that popped up recently before the events that took place last week of Sony acquiring Firesprite, and there was another rumor about Sony London Studio assisting another. Do you remember this? Do you remember this from a while back? I actually meant to source every single thing, and I forgot this one. I apologize, but I remember we had a story because we covered it, and it was about Sony London Studio assisting somebody else that they were helping somebody else. What I'm starting to see here also is that this UK branch, this Europe branch, they're pretty close. Like from Firesprite's made of a lot of ex-Studio Liverpool people that worked on like Wipeout. They even themselves made references to stuff like Psygnosis, who made like a slew of games for the longest time. And like, so there's definitely a big camaraderie. And I think that has a lot to do with why Firesprite was also picked up. Herman Holst is now in charge of he's the head of PlayStation Studios. And And so, like, I think they just have this great relationship, and I think that has not to put anything against Firesprite. Firesprite, as you said, we love the persistence. They're a super, super talented team. They're also huge. They're like 250 people. But I think that camaraderie that they have over there is a big reason why they were also acquired. And I think that's a good thing. I think you work better when you have good synergy together, and that's part of it.
100%. Absolutely.
So anyways, now fast forward, Brian, to what was it, today, September 12th? It was yesterday. There was a random out of nowhere. This is probably not a place that we would usually read, but we were made aware of it. And it was just the first people to report on it, so we're going to give them credit. And it was thegamepost.com. And they produced an article yesterday saying Sony Firesprite reportedly working on a Horizon VR game for PlayStation VR. Yeah. Now, you would usually hear this and you're like, okay, I don't know. But, again, you combine that with some of the stuff that we know, some of the research we've been doing, and it's all starting to come together. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. But they said following the PlayStation acquisition, it looks like Wipeout developer is working on a brand new Horizon VR game. And they said earlier this week, Firesprite Games officially announced that it's joining the PlayStation Studios family. According to a new report, Firesprite Games seems to be working on a brand new Horizon VR game that is a separate thing set in the Horizon universe. Remember the hiring positions? Brand new chapter, new narrative, all those things for a multi-million selling console IP from the last 10 years. This info comes from a well-known insider, Nick of Xbox Era, who went into detail about the new acquisition during the Rumor Mill segment in his podcast that he does. This guy, I don't know this guy at all. I hardly follow him. But I think I've seen him before, and that he was right about a couple things before.
Yeah, he's been on the radar for a little bit. So yeah, I feel like he's to be trusted, at least for now.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of, a little bit. I think this guy like just does this like constantly. So, well, so this is this new one, and that brings us to where we are today, Brian. And the truth is that we've heard about this Horizon VR game, and we were actually planning this to talk about it. Yep. And it's just a coincidence that this article dropped yesterday. It's complete coincidence that this happened. We actually weren't planning on reporting on this article, but there are, like I said, multiple sources now starting to confirm that this is true. And we have seen some things, Brian. And we know a little. We've heard some things.
Indeed, we have. Indeed. So far, most of what we've said has been, this has all been public knowledge. This has been reports on other websites, and we've been picking up these clues and putting them together, and delivering them to you throughout the course of the last couple of years. And so it was to finally find out that we know that this game exists and that it's all legit and it's real was pretty awesome. It was pretty great to hear, especially since some I saw at least one comment in the chat wondering if it's a PSVR1 game, and the answer is 100% no. It is not. Because when you think about Horizon's world real quick, and just think about any scene in Horizon 1, any scene, pick one. Just run to a random destination and look around. Not going to look very good in PSVR 1, powered by the OG PS4 or even the Pro.
God no.
Right?
Your OG PS4 would catch on fire and explode after.
Right. Horizon is a beautiful, beautiful world, and I really do think that Sony, looks at this as a flagship title, and they want that beautiful world to translate and be one of those amazing things that you see when you put on the PSVR2 headset, and that is where they're coming from here. So this is 100% a PlayStation VR2 title, first and foremost. I think that was obvious for most of us. But man, that's the first question I'm answering from the chat. The second question we're answering from the chat comes from our friend Andrew Bailey, who says the big question is it first or third person view? AJ?
Well, let me just say there are certain things that we can say, and there are certain things that we can't say. Let me write down Andrew's question. Is it first or third? And I will answer that. But first, let's tell you a couple new things that we know.
Okay.
That we know about.
All right.
And the things that we are allowed to say.
Sure.
The first is that from this article that was posted yesterday, we can also confirm that it is not Horizon Zero Dawn and it is not Forbidden West.
Right.
And that also goes in line with what the job listing was saying, a new chapter and a new narrative.
Right.
Which brings us to the second thing we can tell you. You play as a male character, and it is first person. It is not a third person VR game, and we're going to get more into that discussion as well.
So why did you have to write down Andrew Bailey's question if you're just going to answer it 3 seconds later?
Because I was getting there.
Like, let me write this down. This is very important.
Just in case I forgot. Forgot.
All right.
You play as a male.
I know people
character.
were asking. I had to ask for them. Yeah, male character, which is, crazy, right? Like, Horizon is Aloy's story.
Right.
And so,
but I actually originally. Oh, go ahead.
So do you think, without having played the game or know the full story, how do you feel about this?
I'm actually happy about it.
Yeah.
Because the first thing, look, I would love to play as Aloy. Directly. Like, I would love to play as Aloy. But when I first heard this news, I was definitely asking myself, or this rumor originally, I was definitely asking myself, what happens when you have a character that's so well known, and what happens when you try to convert them to VR, and then you kind of lose like the visual connection you have with them because you become them. And the only game I can think of off the top of my head is like Hitman 3. That's one of the few third person games that got converted to a third person, where to first person, where like you knew this character, you loved this character, and then now like you are this character. And that was pretty special. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was actually really cool. I didn't mind it.
See, I think it worked for. I think Hitman worked for me because I didn't have a connection with Agent 1947, whatever his name is. He was, for me, he was kind of a blank slate. Every time I played a game that he was in, any of the Hitman games, even prior to the Worlds of Assassination trilogy, I was like, wow, what a fucking blank slate. Like, what a boring character.
Oh, he is.
Like, I'm not interested in him at all. And so being him was like, oh, now I get to be him. Like, and he was already a blank slate. So I do agree with you, man. I think being Aloy might have been a poor decision. And because if you just hear her voice in your head, suddenly you're not the character, you're hearing her voice. And so I think their decision to do this was a good choice, which kind of brings us to the third thing you're about to reveal.
That is correct. Some of these comments are killing me.
I know.
Well, see that, and I already see some people. I see like Stingray X speculating maybe we should play as Erend. I heard somebody else say like maybe you play as somebody else. Like, people are excited about that concept as well. Like, hey, I love that character. Now I get to do it. And the cool thing about it, guys, is that if whoever it is you're playing as, the good thing is when you don't get to play as that character in the first-person view, the cool thing here is that Aloy shows up in the game. She's not playable, but now and I don't know to the extent exactly, or I can't share, I should say, the extent of her appearance in the game, but she's in it, and you likely get to spend maybe some time with her, some significant time with her, or you get to see her at least. And I think that's a cool workaround for like, hey, we're making you play as somebody else in this universe. There's this beloved character that you have that everybody loves and knows, and you don't get to be her, but she's going to be in the game as well.
Right, absolutely. Real quick, a couple of tips that have come in. Stevie Dan, the solo game cat with the 2 quid, says, "Hiya, I just booked Malignant for Wednesday."
Nice. What up, Stevie?
Stevie Dan, keep your expectations low, but enjoy the ride. It's a fun ride. I don't think it was a great horror movie, but it was a fun movie. Gatorade 23, the H2O despising game cat with the $10 tips, says, Dave almost spilled the beans a few streams back. Was this the beans? This wasn't the beans.
No,
I want to say
no.
that was Fract related, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But wow. That's you guys are really paying close attention to this shit.
I know. We have to, dude. We gotta pay
really careful.
We gotta be
what we
really
say
careful about every single thing, which is crazy because we're so laid back and don't care most of the time. But yeah, you gotta be careful. People remember stuff I said that I'm like, oh man, I did say that, but wow, I can't believe you took that out of the entire episode we did. You took that one little thing I said and slept on it every single night, thinking about it. I was like, wow. Just said it in something in passing.
We also got Looper the Game Cat with the 100 ruples. We'll get some. We'll figure that out. Being Lara Croft in the manor felt pretty dope. Not as dope as if they let you climb, though. I agree with that. Yeah. Again, I know I saw Matthew long ago say that Agent 47 isn't a blank slate, and I was like, well,
I mean, he's borderline. He's a borderline test tube baby. I mean, he's basically grown to be an assassin. So not gonna have a sparkling personality. That one. You're gonna get that probably more from the James Bond game IOI is working on.
Yeah. I don't. In all fairness, I didn't think Lara Croft had much of a personality until the reboot series. So it really depends on who you connect to and really how much you're paying attention to the story. Which if you don't love the game, well, you're probably not going to pay much attention to it. But anyway, so it's not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not Forbidden West. It's its own
That's
game.
all we can. Yes, that's pieced together from that. You can also, like I said, we can't go any further than that. But that is what we can say, and it aligns perfectly. It aligns perfectly with the hiring, the job listings that they had. And you have to think too, if you put all these together as well with the stuff from the job listings and everything as well, it seems like Firesprite may be working with Sony London Studio on them. I think I already mentioned this, so we won't dive any deeper into it. But and it sounds like Firesprite is licensing or they've gotten the blessing from Guerrilla Games, and then they're working on it primarily, and then Sony London is helping. That's some good studios right there. Sony London is really good with the tactile gameplay element kind of stuff, and even some visual quality stuff. So speaking of visual, Brian, I've been hearing from some sources that they said the level of detail in these environments is absolutely incredible.
I heard the word staggering.
Staggering.
I heard that they are almost on par with the PlayStation 4 version of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
I've heard
that's about right.
I've heard that it looks amazing.
Yes, I mean, I'm curious to see if it'll be more like PS4 Pro, is what I'd like at the least. If not, maybe make it look like PS5. But anyways, the visuals in this game are supposed to be pretty breathtaking, and there's a possibility that they're using this foveated rendering technique to utilize that and to make everything make it generate these. Horizon has these deep, lush, gorgeous, dense jungle environments. Beautiful. If you look at the Horizon Forbidden West trailer, the water looks absolutely stunning. The environments, this is definitely a looker. This game, Horizon, the IP.
Okay, but let's back up just a second here. If this is a standalone game,
right?
Doesn't this sort of? I mean, we just reported about the PlayStation VR2 summit that happened, the developer summit.
Right.
And the big takeaway from that, I mean, obviously we got a bunch of specs, but the big takeaway from that was sort of Sony's plan for the future of VR games. And one of their big plans was focusing on hybrid games that were playable on the PlayStation 5 flat screen and on PlayStation VR2 that felt like they were built from the ground up. And then one of the first games we ever hear about for PlayStation VR2 outside of Runner is is a Horizon game that isn't a flat screen game. It's a PlayStation VR2 exclusive, right?
Well, remember what we said about this game first hearing about it being play tested, playable to some degree 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
plans change. Things often change, and they can do whatever they want. So maybe this is a big initiative moving forward. Like they're going to have some of their first party IP stuff, and maybe moving forward, that is going to be initiative. Could be maybe more for third party studios, and they'll want to have as much VR integration as possible. But they also went on to say that they want a built from the ground up feeling. So yes, it goes against the AAA hybrid theory, but it doesn't. I laugh because it's a hybrid theory. It goes against the AAA hybrid theory, but it also stands by the whole, we want games to feel like they're built from the ground up. We want them to be immersive, interactive, no more DualShock 4 when you should be playing with two hands.
100%, absolutely. And I think I just want to clarify for everybody. I think what might be becoming obvious, as you said, this game has been in development for, if it was being play tested 2 years ago, then it's obviously been in development for 3 years minimum. And so plans do change, and strategies change. And we could look back 3 years and see that there were a lot of different people running Sony. So anything's possible. But there's a part of me that wants to believe that Sony's hybrid initiative is more to convince third-party studios, saying, "Hey, we need the next Call of Duty game to have a VR hybrid mode." Right. And we're going to make it easy for you to bring your game into VR. We're going to send some people from Sony or from White Moon Dreams or whatever over to your studio. We're going to make sure you understand how to make this happen. We're going to show you how to flip the switch. It's a big deal. And you're going to want to be part of this next generation of gaming. But because those studios are not interested in spending millions and millions and millions of dollars making a PlayStation VR2 exclusive game, they just want to make the game they're making and then flip a switch. And Sony's trying to make that easy on them. So right. I think that this hybrid initiative, the more we talk about it and the more we talk about Horizon, whatever it's going to be called, I think Sony's still going to be delivering these AAA VR only experiences or games. I don't even want to call them experiences because that has a negative connotation these days. I think we're going to get these full-fledged games from Sony, from IPs that we're very, very familiar with. And so this might break that hybrid rule. We may get Uncharted games that are exclusive to VR. It's very possible.
Every time you say Uncharted, I would, as much as I would like that, that's not an IP that I feel like is current as something like Horizon is. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, this new Wolverine that was just announced. A lot of these make more sense to me, and I could see these games already have their mechanics in place, and yeah, I could absolutely see it. They're just too deep with their structure, their core gameplay to redo everything just for VR. I mean, it is possible, but you can't do when Spider-Man's doing, and when he animates an attack and he's doing 3 front flips or whatever. Stuff like that is hard to do. A spin-off kind of title works like this, and we don't know. When you mentioned experiences, we don't know how long this game is or what the job listing says is a full VR game. Yeah. But that's VR, and that may not mean a 30 to 40 hour game like Horizon Zero Dawn was. When it comes to VR, that could mean really anything. I mean, to me personally, the least I'd like to see is something like Resident Evil, where it's at least 13 hours. Yeah. Is usually, that feels to me like a full length game, 13 to 15 hours. Resident Evil, Saints and Sinners, a couple other games. And so they've said that they've want to get away from that as well. So I can't get away from the experiences.
There's so much about this that I can't wait to experience in VR and first person, because this is sort of why I stopped playing flat screen games, because I was like, okay, third person is obstructing my view. I'm not feeling as immersed as I once was. PlayStation VR is here, and now I'm in the game, and so playing as Aloy and pushing a button to to shoot an arrow or bringing up a quick menu to decide, what I'm going to do. It just didn't feel all that immersive. But thinking about how this is going to work with the orbs, with the adaptive triggers, and shooting arrows, and then running up, and once I've tranquilized the thing or I've got it, whatever, it's been a while since I've played Horizon.
Dude,
I remember
the way
getting
you
the
break
net
down
over the whole fucking thing, man. It's like,
yeah, the way the combat in this game, I absolutely love it. Like I said, it does mix stealth. There are like one-hit stealth kills, and but yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, I think everything is in place here to make for some amazing gameplay moments and gameplay experiences.
Dude.
Where using the bow. I
Yeah.
mean, what if Aloy gives you her bow and you get to borrow it, and you're like, I'll bring it back. I'll fill it up before I bring it back. But yeah, that's such a perfect fit for a game like this. And I mean,
Dude, when you run up, I mean, I remember scaling some of the bigger enemies. Like this could have, we've all begged for the Shadow of the Colossus in VR. Like that's something we were asking for years. And so to finally kind of experience that in Horizon's world, I think would be almost as cool, or maybe just as cool, to be able to say, I got to climb up to the top of this thing, or I'm going to ride this dinosaur, whatever it is. And then you're climbing it in first person. I think the scale of some of these enemies is going to be ridiculous.
Dude, these giant dinosaurs, like the tall necks, oh my God. Like imagine seeing a tall neck in VR. Wow. Just there's so many amazing giant dinosaurs. And yeah, they're probably going to all look pretty huge because they're pretty big, even on the flat screen. Like they're pretty big and detailed and gorgeous. And yeah, they have this whole mechanic where you where you have to kind of find their weak spots. You scan their weak spots. There's this ancient technology that's like supposed to be in the game, or that's in the game, and it's like a device that kind of helps. It adds this futuristic element, another futuristic element to what is more like a primitive society, and it's this great hybrid of sci-fi as well as like I said, this primitive fantasy world. Super cool, but yeah, I can't wait. And I think having a standalone gives them a lot more freedom to tinker around and I'm sure they'll let you try and experience a lot of the same things, but now they can do it without having to sacrifice anything. There's very few games that have shown that they can convert a deep flat screen game with all these mechanics into VR seamlessly. Resident Evil, Hitman, both of those use the DualShock, but then you had like No Man's Sky, which is why I always praise that game, because No Man's Sky is one of the rare games where like everything just works in VR and with the Move controllers, and hey, like you just grab doors and open them and you pick up stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So this all kind of coming to light and us finally being able to talk about a lot of this is sort of an interesting segue, because a lot of people right now are talking about a PlayStation experience that has been rumored to be coming up in December. Now,
Right.
I want to be real clear about this. That this, from this point forward, 100% rumor. Like everything we talked about before, like
Yes.
we're really confident on that. Everything from this point forward is rumors, and we have to trust people that we don't know well enough to trust. And so there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of rumors about a PlayStation experience in December. Now, PlayStation experience hasn't been around for a while. That was something they used to do every December for like a few years in a row.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they did it like 2 or 3 years, right? That was it.
at least. But it was something to look forward to, right? Because it was something that wasn't for the investors. It wasn't the E3 where they had to show certain things and they had to make their presentation. Now, fuck Call of Duty, right? It was they were making gamers happy. Right, like real PlayStation gamers happy, and when I say real, I mean,
Sort of.
well, they got to be a little bit
That
more.
was their goal. Sure.
Well, they always succeeded when it came to me, because I felt like this experience was always for the gamers. It was always, hey, we're going to show off some of the more art house things that we're working on. We're going to show off some of the less mainstream games that we've been working on, and really show you some really cool things that maybe aren't appropriate for the big stage of E3. Now, I think the rumor that PlayStation Experience is returning in order to deliver the PlayStation VR2 message is nothing short of perfect, because Because first of all, I think they need a stage. Right? Before we go any further, they need a stage. They need a presentation. They need people in an audience. They need people reacting to something that's going on, because this is an exciting moment. And I think when you do something like the PlayStation Showcase or State of Play, it's fine to throw together a bunch of edited video. And it's like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool presentation. Oh, look at this new game. I'm excited for this. But there's an energy that doesn't get conveyed in those presentations that does happen with the stage. This is why I miss E3. This is why I miss Sony having E3 press conferences.
That's huge. Yeah.
Right? And so this is very, very important. They need the crowd reaction. They need real PlayStation fans to see what they've been working on. And so the rumor is that the PlayStation VR2 will be revealed in December at the PlayStation Experience. Now, to clarify, there were rumors about the showcase we just saw. And the showcase we just saw, which was 40 minutes long, was supposed to happen in August and was supposed to be over an hour long and include the PlayStation VR2 stuff. So this actually adds a little bit of credibility to the rumor, because what we just saw was chopped in half. We didn't get the full show that was rumored. And so that, and even prior to the show, there was words out there that saying, hey, this might get chopped in half. This might get spread out. This might get flipped around and reversed. And that's exactly what happened. So part of the show that we just saw, I think it moved to December. And I think they're really going to double down and really do a huge PlayStation VR2 focused show. I think there's going to be other games there too, right? That's all part of the rumor. There were games that were supposed to be part of the showcase that weren't shown, and Sony held off to kind of make the PlayStation experience special for everybody, even people who weren't interested in VR.
So the only thing I think I can believe about this rumor is maybe there was some stuff that was supposed to go into the current the last showcase that we just saw last week, and maybe there was more to show and they're saving it for later. I mean, we already knew that they were planning a showcase where they were supposed to show more Horizon, they were supposed to show more God of War, they were supposed to show the next generation of virtual reality. They never said, I think, those were all supposed to be one show together. Well, we knew that those were things that were coming anyways, but I don't think I remember like anything. I
saw a couple of rumors, and I know that you're not a fan of Robert Serrano rumors, but that he was one of them that was saying it was supposed to be.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the guy, or I don't like him or dislike him.
Well, that was one. That was one of the sources that was saying this.
Right. Well, he's one of those guys that I feel like just sometimes, he's always hit or miss. You know, he's not a guaranteed, like, every time, he says something, it's going to happen because yeah, I just think he just says he just reports on everything, and sometimes they're true. And I don't really need that, or like that's not useful to me, because it's like, well, I could have just made shit up, and 50% chance of it happening or not. And I know
I don't think that's how things work.
There's legit.
You can't just say something and it's 50-50 that it'll happen.
Dude,
wait a minute.
I mean, this is
that
why
how things work? Because Bioshock VR. I said it twice. Now it's gonna happen.
But anyways, no problem with the dude, no problem with anybody that does their thing, like no problems at all. Do your thing and have fun doing it. But to me, the problem here is that PlayStation Experience to me was a previous regime thing. Mm-hmm. It was a Sean Layden thing where he would come out and unveil his shirt, and it was like, what's he gonna have on in his shirt? It's gonna be Crash Bandicoot. It's gonna be Medieval. That's was part of that. And this is a whole new leadership. So to me, I'm just not complete. I think it'd be great. Don't get me wrong. I liked PlayStation Experience. The first one, they immediately did more Final Fantasy VII Remake right after the E3 of Dreams, and I was like loving it. But I just cannot take this seriously. What I do think is that there is more to show. And I know that for a fact because we haven't seen the headset. We haven't seen the games. They haven't said anything. Everything has come from us, Brian.
Yeah, most of it has, for sure.
Most of what we've seen, besides the
controllers in February.
Yeah,
other
true.
than that.
They did announce it, and then they showed the controllers.
Yep.
But then, like, everything else, like, has just been stuff that has been leaked or, something like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. What I do know, like I said, I'll finalize it with this. I know that they still need to show the PlayStation VR next gen headset. I know that they still have some games that they're going to launch. They still have tons of games. They've got tons of games in the works that they're going to show. And that's about it. That's about as far as I'm willing to believe that thing. I think there will be. I would love a huge PlayStation VR2 showcase, and do it with a bang. It'd be awesome. But that's it, man. That's all.
That's it for you. I'm willing to go much further. Much further. This PlayStation.
Join the Discord and have this talk with Brian Katz.
No. This PlayStation experience, the rumors go so much further, and I feel like we wouldn't be doing it justice if we cut the conversation off there. This is big stuff. This is super important. Like, as far as we're a PlayStation VR channel, and again, if we're not reporting on the rumors, I feel like we're just not doing anybody any justice. And so really part of this is, we've heard about the Wipeout rumors where Wipeout's being rebooted and will be a PlayStation VR2 title. That's amazing. But another part of this PlayStation experience rumor is that not only are we going to see the headset, but we're also going to see an Astrobot Rescue Mission 2 and that Wipeout game, right? That's huge. For anybody who's thinking that Asobi wasn't going to make another VR Astrobot game, I never believed that to begin with. I think Astrobot is 100% the character that Sony wants to use moving forward to showcase new technology, including the DualSense and now the PlayStation VR2 headset. But my favorite part of all this is that Sony has actually been building a new studio in Japan. That, again, rumor, and it's designed to be a AAA studio, and they will be showing off their new game during the showcase. So it's not, Sony's not just purchasing studios and just being like, okay, now you're a PlayStation studio. They're building them from the ground up and saying, okay, we're making the studio exactly the way we want it to be. And I don't think you can underestimate the importance of Japanese influence in video games, right? Over the last,
I certainly do not.
No, I mean, over the last couple of decades, the shift has moved from Japan. It used to be when we were growing up, every good game came from Japan. And if something was made in the U.S. or anywhere else, you look at it kind of like a little suspect. Like, oh, this might not be so good. But that's changed. And when we see companies like Konami basically just falling by the wayside and making a living off of developing pachinko machines based on their IPs that we know and love, it's kind of a sad state of affairs, and for Sony to kind of trying to rebuild something that's really, really important. The Japanese influence in video games and creating their own first party studio in Japan. I think that's incredible, and I can't wait to see what that studio is capable of. Especially when it's designed to be a AAA studio. It's not just, hey, we're just building a small team of 10, 15 people, and it's going to be an indie studio, and they're going to make some fun little VR experiences. I'm really curious to see what these guys can do.
Me too. Really looking forward to it. The only problem I have with the Astrobot 2 and Wipeout thing, now I actually believe an Astrobot 2 has to be in the works. I don't know if I have to, but I would love to see it. Because to be something that would help showcase the new hardware. The problem is, the only thing that bothers me about that is kind of the shakeup. Like they had Astro's Playroom, which was a PS5 pack-in title, and they got done with that. Then the team kind of broke up in many ways, I thought, or was relocated. So to me, it's such a quick turnaround. I just don't know if I'm completely sold on a new Astrobot being ready already.
Well, why is it doesn't have to be a launch title. I mean, like that,
No.
that's another thing that people keep throwing at me. They're being like, there's not going to be any launch titles ready. It's like, well, there's going to be a few, and then there'll be more released throughout the course of the year. I mean, like, we just had PlayStation 5 launch with barely any games. Right? And, like, here we are a year in, and it's like, well, how many PS5 exclusive games have we gotten, really? And you can point to a bunch of titles, and that's great, and they were good. but honestly, if PlayStation VR2 had a similar launch, I don't think anybody would complain. So, and the fact is, Astro's Playroom wasn't a full-fledged game. It was an amazing game. or not Astra's Playroom.
Astrobot Rescue Mission.
No, Astra's Playroom. The DualSense
Astra's
game.
Playroom. The pack-in. Yeah.
There's no way the entire team was working on that. Japan Studio got restructured entirely and became basically Team Asobi. And so I'm sure Team Asobi got tons of new members, and that team just grew and grew and grew. And so, they are definitely not working on one project at a time. I would say that the DualSense game was made by the B team, being like, hey, you guys go off and do this while, we're going to focus our efforts on this big, full Astrobot sequel. But that's it, man. It's like I don't think that's all I'm trying to get across, is that these games don't have to be launch titles. They're probably ready to be seen in preview form on a stage somewhere. Be like, hey, look how fucking crazy good this looks. Like it's PlayStation VR 2, and that's all you need them for as far as the PlayStation experience goes. So it's a very, very exciting time. And again, we're not going to get into the whole March conversation all over again, but man, I love the March conversation, because the March conversation got me really excited and started making all my synapses started firing and going, this is actually possible, right? Some people are saying PlayStation VR 2 is 2023, 2024.
Holiday 2023.
Right?
It's like, come on, man.
And I'm like, that is just so far out. We saw those controllers that were practically done in February. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
Yeah. Getting closer for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely expect by the beginning of the year, at the least, we see the headset. We start hearing a lot more about it, and it's not this worst secret ever kind of deal anymore.
It's really the worst secret ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. The other, I don't want to get all into it. The other thing was like the Wipeout. I know there was a rumor about a Wipeout being made, but I remember even from that rumor was that like that wasn't even supposed to come out for like years or something. But we're at the end of 2021, and games are being announced for 2023 by this point. So, it's
what's
not
crazy?
It's not impossible anymore.
I've been trying to track down PlayStation VR 1 release dates that go beyond 2021. I mean, we are in September of 2021. There are no PlayStation VR release dates after 2021. There are only 3 months left in this year, and there are none. That says something to me. That says something to me, big time.
There's not a single game that says 2022. Right. As far as I know, right?
I mean, not currently. I mean, I'm sure some will get announced, right? But man,
where has 2022 gone? Why is 2022 missing, Brian? Oh my God!
I don't know.
Well, even if it's at the end of 2022, there's a lot of buildup until then. But who knows? That's again all I ever said from the beginning, for the most part, was that it was a matter of when, not if.
Right.
PSVR 2 is coming. I have no idea when it is coming. I feel like the pandemic. Another reason, we're still kind of not completely out of the pandemic yet, which is another reason I don't think it's ready for a PlayStation Experience event. But it's certainly better. We're certainly on the up and up, like I said before. So
we'll see, man. It's an exciting time, no matter how you look at it, and
super exciting, super duper exciting.
We know a few things. We don't know everything, and we're glad we get to reveal a few of the things we knew today. Unfortunately, we have people that we are loyal to, and one thing I'll say is that Sony has not come to us and said, we're going to show you everything, sign some NDAs, right? That's so we get to circumvent all of that. As soon as Sony comes to us and says, we're going to show you shit, sign some NDAs, things change, right? But when we have friends showing us stuff and saying, please don't share this, or you can only share this amount of information, we respect that, because we are very loyal to the people who are sharing this information with us. I don't know when it happened, but Without Parole became part of the fucking video game industry, which blows my fucking mind. And we're very, very grateful that we know some of this shit. Speaking of which, time to play with GameCats with the 2 quid says, when are you guys going to do a VR home tour?
A VR home tour? Like our house, you can tour in VR?
I guess we could make that in Dreams. It would be the most boring thing I could possibly make in Dreams, though, because my apartment is literally this big.
Here's my PlayStation 1. Here's my PlayStation Classic. Yeah. Here's my PlayStation 2. Here's my
cat.
You get the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, Tornado running around would be the highlight of the entire thing. Thank you so much for your donation. Also, Nihilist Ryan, the game feline, with the $5 tip says, so humble. You guys aren't just a PlayStation VR channel. You guys are the PlayStation VR channel, and I think you'll blow up when PSVR2 releases. Thank you for that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate the vote of confidence.
It's a community-driven thing we do here, man. It's you guys take just as much credit as well. I mean, yeah, we work our asses off, but you also give us power. Oh, I don't know.
You're so
about.
weird.
Sorry.
All right. And before we begin 20 questions, we've also got Wild Hour, the game cat, with the $10 Australian dollars. Says, hire AJ. Hopefully, we get a mic drop moment before Christmas. Congrats, AJ, on 6,000 subscribers.
Thank you, man. Cats. I forgot to tell you. Yeah, make sure you head over to the channel, and I've got 8 codes I'm giving away. You have until tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, which is about 3 hours from now tomorrow. So go and get you some. I won't post it publicly everywhere because I don't really want anybody.
I'm sorry, did you say 3 hours from now tomorrow? That was the most confusing time I've ever heard in my life. Like 3 hours from now tomorrow. So
yes.
Okay, so 27 hours from now.
But yeah.
I'm so confused.
so yeah, man. Great games. Fract, Arashi, Synth Riders, and Swordsman VR, man. Great games. I love these games. EU and North America. So yeah, man. I'll tell you guys.
Cold, man.
You're still
Very
the
nice.
cats, No cats left behind. No.
I'm assuming OtterX, the restless wandering game shrimp. That must have come from your Kowloon's Gate stream.
Kowloon's Gate. Yes.
Yeah.
Kowloon's. I streamed Kowloon's Gate on Saturday. It was fantastic.
So
it was surprising. It was so annoying to take the headset off, but the game is like so weird that I actually kind of started to fall in love with it because it's just so weird. It's almost entertaining.
It really, really is. All right, man. Are you ready for a little bit of PSVR 20 questions?
Before we wrap up the show, yes. Whose turn is it to pick a game?
Oh, I've got a game picked out. Is it my? I hope it's my turn.
Thank God, because I was trying to pick a game out right now and stall.
Right. My deal is like we've done so many of these. Somebody needs to keep a record, and so I can scan the record book so we don't repeat games. So
right.
I don't even know if we've done this one before. Are you ready?
Well, I have a pretty good memory, so.
All right, here we go.
I am ready. Let's do this, cats.
On your mark, get Des. Go.
Does it have aim support?
No aim support.
Does it have move support?
Yes, it does have move support.
Is it an action game?
No, I don't think anyone's classifying this as an action game.
Is it, does it have shooting in it?
Yes.
Are you shooting in it?
Yes.
Does have shooting in it. Okay.
Yes.
Was that yes to all of those? Or
you've only got 2 questions left. Yeah. Yes, you can. You do shoot in this game.
Okay. Do you melee combat in this game?
I don't think so. No. I'm not even going to count that because I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. No, but.
Flame Hat the Game Cat says, "Is it Horizon VR?"
Right.
Is it a rhythm game?
It's not a rhythm game. It's 5.
Okay. Good there. Good, I guess, with the Audica there. Let's see. Do you swing in this game?
Like, do you have sex with other people's wives?
No.
Then no.
Maybe?
No.
Wait. Yes.
You don't swing in this game.
Okay. Let's see here. Is it a like wave shootery kind of game?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that would be my first go-to, but sure.
Wouldn't be your first go-to.
I certainly wouldn't be helping you out if I said no. That's for sure.
Is it a fantasy game?
I mean, not in the way that we think of fantasy, like
not like Lord of the Rings fantasy.
Not like orcs and elves and shit. Yeah, no. Hugh Guyver with the Australian $5 has finished work just in time to hear my favorite gaming channel, PSVR without Parole, Fire. Thank you so much, Hugh
Guyver. What's up? Shout out to your cousin Mac.
Yeah.
Do you shoot a bow and arrow in this game?
I don't believe so.
Has this developer made other PSVR games?
No. That's 10.
That's 10. Getting a little low here. Let's see. I don't think there's any horror element here, Ben Dawson. Don't think there is any horror element. Let's see. It's not a rhythm game. I'm looking. I like where you go. Wait, no. He said there's. Wait, did you say there's a bow or no?
I don't believe so, no.
He doesn't believe there's a bow. It's definitely not Apex Construct. Johnny Mold, I just realized he said Apex Legend. Damn it. Is it a game compilation?
No, it's not a game compilation. That's 11.
Okay. Is it? Let's see. How much time do we have left?
2 minutes and 36 seconds. Shout out to
2
Scott
minutes
Jesco,
and
PSN Harry Fellow, PSVR Game Cap for life. Wow, £2. Says hire AJ. I'll watch when I get home from work. It's RE7. He said that's funny. I didn't realize he was throwing out a suggestion.
Do you shoot realistic guns in this game?
No, I wouldn't call them realistic. No.
Okay. Let's see here. Is it cartoony looking?
That's not what they're going for. No.
So it's kind of like a wave-based game with shooters. Does it have zombies? Great question.
It does not have zombies.
Damn it. Then what kind of game is it? Does it have multiplayer?
Yeah.
It has multiplayer.
15.
Multiplayer shooter with kind of a wave thing. We're at 15. I need to get more specific. It's kind of fantasy-ish. It has multiplayer. It's a shooter with the moves. Kind of like a wave shooter. Did it come out within the first half of the PSVR life cycle?
I totally blanked on the year here. Yes.
Is it a let's see, they've only made one game, so it can't be Crisis Brigade because they've made two games. They've made Crisis Brigade and Crisis Brigade 2. I was thinking Raw Data, but Raw Data doesn't have multiplayer. Are there robots in it?
Not that I can remember. I feel like maybe there are some, but that aren't a big deal.
God damn, this one's tough. Did you say it was or wasn't within the first half?
It is.
It was within the first. Is it a rail shooter?
No, definitely not a rail shooter.
How many are we at?
Yeah, that's 18. So you got
18, guys.
one more question and a guess.
Oh, guys. Multiplayer, kind of wave shootery.
20 seconds left.
20 seconds left. Those don't have multiplayer, guys. I need multiplayer. Is it there's no aim support. It can't be far point. Are there fish in it? I'll just...
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Is it Dick Wild 2?
It is not Dick
Damn
Wild
it.
2.
I ran out of time.
It is one of our favorite games of all time. It's Ark Park.
What? That doesn't have multiplayer.
Yes, it does. It has 4-player multiplayer.
What? Ark Park is multiplayer?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I should have said, does it have dinosaurs?
You definitely should have said, does it
Dang.
have dinosaurs?
It's always aliens, robots, or dinosaurs. Dang it. Lesson learned.
Is it always?
Good game.
Is it always aliens, robots, or dinosaurs?
It's a lot of the time. It's
Okay.
Wow.
That's good to know.
Wait, I thought I asked if I was thinking about asking if this was a good game or not, and
Oh yeah, you
Damn
definitely
it.
didn't ask that. I wouldn't be able to hold back my
my
laugh there.
the one time that would have actually helped. Woo, that was a tough one, man. Good job. Good.
All right.
Thank you, chat, for the helping for trying to. They were just as stumped as I was, man. That was a tough one.
Yeah, when you get stuck on the weapon thing, I was like, oof, going down the wrong path. And I was trying to think because the wave, it was definitely a wave shooter. Like that's the point of the entire game was to build up your, everything you need to make the wave shooter section easier. But then I was like, well, I hate the wave shooter part of it so much that I couldn't even remember like what weapons you used. And I was like, I know there's all sorts of different guns, but I was like, is there a bow and arrow? Maybe, but
Steve,
I don't know if it would have
Irie
helped
says
you or not.
Yeah, he says my question sucked balls. I agree. I'm sorry for that. I should have done better for you guys. I'm sorry. Usually it gets the job done. I will take full responsibility for this one.
Let me tell you, Steve Irie, it's a lot different. I know it's fun to play in the chat, but once you get up here and the pressure is on, it's a wildly different game. Okay. Well, AJ thinks it's easy. I, however, do not. I think this, like, I've been not doing nothing but covering PlayStation VR games for the last 5 years straight, and I'm like, as the second the game starts, I forget every single PlayStation VR game ever made, except for Resident Evil 7. So, pretty tough. All right, you guys, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. It's been a fun show. Really happy we get to talk a little bit about the upcoming Horizon VR game. It looks like it's going to be something we're going to talk about soon. That was a weird thing to say. Also, let me shout out to Miles Dyer, who runs our Instagram account, Jamie Au, who's getting our website up and running and keeps this thing going on Spotify, podcast services, Apple Podcasts. Also, shout out to the mods, guys. Mods are killing it out there, making sure that the chat is civil and that everything's running smooth on Discord. So make sure you join us over on Discord where multiplayer meetups happen. All sorts of fun things happen. Shout out to Mad Max, the Hellsweeper VR game cat. Nice. With a $5 tip says, guys, Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer spoke about new features, including much more. All the games in March have a hybrid potential. Gran Turismo 7 also said much more. Hashtag hire 6K AJ. Ooh, it rhymes. I like that. Thank you very much, Mad Max. Yeah, man, we'll talk way more about Gran Turismo 7 and all sorts of PlayStation VR2 games a little later in hybrid games. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry for all the timestamps. You're awesome, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. Thank you, everybody who donated. Thank you, everybody who participated during 20 questions. And, of course, thank you, everybody who sat back and watched the show and say a goddamn word. We know you're fucking out there. Numbers don't lie. We love you so very much. Can I cue the cat?
You're the cat, Brian, because we will see you on Hump Day Wednesday. Brax Bro says, well, in case I don't see you later, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Hack the game, cat. Thank you so much, man. Stay lit, yo. Justin Cassidy, go get some sleep, man. Great. Thank you for joining. Kramer 3K, the non-VR game cat. Imzadi with the shrimp.
So much shrimp.
Egg prawns, a.k.a. shrimp. They call them prawns.
I have a seafood allergy. Imzadi's trying to kill me.
Johnny Moles, thank you so much, man. LC2552 Beats the Musical Games Cat. NGVR hype. That's right. PSVR2, let's go, baby. It's so close, bro. It's so close I can taste it.
Does it taste good? You didn't answer the most important question. How's it taste?
Oh, it tastes like snozberries. Otter X, the restless wandering game shrimp. He says, cue the shrimp. We got to just replace everything with shrimp. We're turning into the great game shrimps now. That was a lot of fun, man. Callum's Gate is crazy. I want to go play. I hope I get to play some more soon. Jesse J, the Terror Mates Game Cat. Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much. Imzadi, thank you. Emily Baxter, hashtag Game Kitten. Confuse a Game Cat. So Brian has seen good save cover up.
No comment. Moving on.
I'm guessing I know what that's about. Genetic Blasphemy GG as well. Steve Irie, thank you so much, man. Hey, guys, I will take for the blame. Don't you worry. You are safe behind me. Johnny Mole says, this is a group failure, AJ. We all failed. No, you didn't. I let you down. I led you astray. Anikazi, sometimes it's wizards, he says. Dave Station VR in the chat. Missed you, brother. Good to see you, as always. Thank you so much for being here. Blue Chew, the luckiest game cat. Let me rub your head for some luck. Nihilist Ryan, the game feline, says Arc Goddamn Park.
AJ, can I rub your head for some luck?
Yes, you sure can, bro.
How long do I have to rub it for before I get lucky?
I am super duper lucky.
Time to play with GameCat says you two should move in together and pool your resources. We thought about this, and then I found out how messy AJ is, and I'm also messy. Nope, I'm also messy. I need to move in with somebody who is not messy and can keep this place clean. All right, can we get out of here?
Let's get out of here.
See you guys on Discord. Meow meow.
Later, cats.